There are more suicides among men in Japan. Especially regarding men, there is an old Japanese saying, "Don't show your true colors on the outside. Don't express your negative emotions to others."
Saito believes that this suicidal tendency can be traced back to older aspects of Japanese culture.
There is a saying, "The samurai glories in honorable poverty," which expresses the pride and endurance of the samurai. In essence, it's about being heroic.
Japan's ancient warrior class, the samurai, put the protection of pride and honor above all else. In feudal Japan, when a samurai suffered a serious loss of honor, he committed seppuku. This ritualistic form of suicide was carried out by means of stomach cutting, followed by the final act of decapitation. Only by this extreme action could honor be preserved. While Suicide Club appears to draw eerie parallels with the samurai's ancient rituals, the film's director believes that in contrast, these modern scenes of horror are frighteningly pointless.
It's like the philosophy of punk. I hid what I truly wanted to say, and instead evoked the opposite message, as I thought that would be the best way. I chose the method of saying, "do it," as opposed to "don't do it," provoking the viewer into thinking about the issue more carefully.
By provoking audiences in this way, Suicide Club is a stark reminder that you don't have to go very far to come into contact with true horror. South Korea. It's often compared to Japan, but it's an economic powerhouse in its own right, and now a global leader in digital technology. The rapid rate of economic growth has sparked a phenomenon in Korean entertainment known as Hallyu, or the Korean Wave. Since the 90s, South Korea's entertainment industry has experienced explosive growth, producing Asia-wide hits in music, television, and film. Korean horror films have also enjoyed phenomenal success, attracting a strong fan base and even inspiring Korea's first horror festival. Now competing with Japanese horror on a level playing field, South Korean filmmakers are credited with creating a radically different and scarier breed of box office winners.
I think it'd be fair to say that when Korea first started making horror films, it was very much they were doing remakes of Japanese films, and there wasn't really any identity of voice coming from Korea. But that's long changed now. Korea is really forging ahead. There are far more horror films being made in Korea now than in Japan.
Changing with the times, the Koreans have learned how to scare audiences in their own way, portraying dark and twisted versions of modern life that cinema-goers find instantly familiar.
Horror films from the 60s and 70s revolve around this figure of kind of a virgin ghost. And the ideas of a young woman who was killed in some unfortunate way. I think Korean directors of today have consciously tried to distance themselves from the horror films of the past, pushing for a very realistic setting that modern-day audiences can relate to. And certainly in the past 40 years, Korean society has completely transformed itself. And in order to do that, people have been very focused on the present and the future, especially.
One of the most frightening films from the new wave of Korean horror is Phone. Phone tells the story of Ji-won, an investigative reporter who receives the attention of an unrelenting stalker. Unable to shake him off, Ji-won flees to her editor's new apartment and buys a mobile phone with an unregistered number.
이상하네. 번호가 하나밖에 클릭이 안 돼요. 죄송합니다. 다른 영업소로 가셔야겠는데요.
이것도 인연인가 봐요. 주세요, 그 번호.
To her horror, it's a phone that connects her to the spirit of a dead high school student who eventually reveals her terrifying secret.
Phone really does for phones what Ring did for video. Brilliant idea. It's been copied. It's also led, for once, for Korean film having Japanese remakes, like One Missed Call. It's really great. It is one of the most genuinely frightening films that I've seen.
An Byung-gi, the director of Phone and a pioneer of contemporary Korean horror, believes that modern life has opened up a new world of fears that filmmakers can tap into.
It is said that modern people have a discomfort psychologically if they do not carry their mobile phones on them at all times. Mobile phones may be the best means of communication, but at the same time, it creates stress. Modern people are so attached to their mobile phones that it's a scary reality.
But the mobile is not the only device that strikes terror into Phone's audiences. In the film, the horror develops into something even more disturbing. Yeong-ju, the daughter of Ji-won's editor, becomes possessed by an evil spirit through the mobile phone. By applying this twist to the story, Phone resonated with Korean audiences, not just because of the theme of modern technology, but also because of their belief in the paranormal.
Possession is also one of the most popular devices in Korean horror movies. That's why I decided to use scenes of possession in Phone. When we take a look at the ghost stories handed down from the past by word of mouth, there were a lot of stories about possession.
In Korea, the actual existence of rituals that induce spirit possession make the scenes from Phone even more chilling. This is Korean shamanism. It's a unique world pervaded by hidden forces and is said to have links with Buddhism.